And something about that experience makes you think a little deeper about health and what are the factors that promote good health. And then I started to think about my own health journey, having been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder when I was 14 years old. And I could relate to my patients that I was seeing every day in my pharmacy. Suddenly, all the clinical knowledge that I had gained in pharmacy school had names and faces. And that will really make a person take a deeper dive into questions like, what is good health really about? And what are the things that make a person healthy? And most importantly, for me in my life at that time, what are the things that I could be doing to set my family up for success in the way of physical health? Because one of my greatest desires at that time in life was to have a healthy family. And so after long days in the community pharmacy, I'd go home and I'd spend time researching. And I was looking at scientific published data, sometimes from massive meta-analyses, all pointing in one direction: nutrition. And more specifically, the significantly protective effect of fruits and vegetables on all body systems. And I really wish I would have had the Juice Plus Science Institute that they just unveiled to us today, because that could have saved me a lot of time. I was looking at multiple different resources, different sites. I love what they've just shown us. That is such a great resource all in one place. But for us, it came down to nutrition. You know, we were exercising, we were getting sleep at night, we were getting sunlight and plenty of water. But what needed to change in my life at that point was nutrition. Specifically, I knew I needed a variety of fruits and vegetables every single day. And so we did what any reasonable pharmacist would do after looking at the data and being compelled to make a change. We went out and we bought ourselves a $400 juicer. And my husband would drive an hour each way to get the highest quality produce around us. And we were spending about $90 every 5 days. You guys, that's about $18 a day. This was 10 years ago. Then we were spending an hour in our kitchen every morning, prepping, washing, juicing, drinking, cleaning the juicer, just to start our day. But it was because we knew the importance of everyday nutrition. See, I had learned about the power of the pharmacy with an F, and how the world's best pharmacy actually exists inside each and every single one of us. It's how we were created. You know, many of us don't realize it, but our bodies are constantly organizing and carrying out complex operations every day to maintain our health. And nearly all of our internal functions occur outside of our awareness. For instance, you know, your body, can do amazing things like filter your blood and fight off infections and repair your internal organs using its own natural chemicals. Our bodies are doing these things outside of our awareness. And taking full advantage of this internal pharmacy that each of us has is the best way to care for our health. And it doesn't require us to make a lot of complex decisions, like I said, but first and foremost, what you need is good nutrition. That's one of the caveats to make our internal pharmacy operate really, really well. And that can look a little bit different for each person in terms of nutrition, but most importantly, it's eating foods as close to their natural source as possible. And there's literally hundreds of examples that I could give you about how food impacts our internal pharmacies, but I'll just give you one today. And it's the class called flavonoids. They're a class of polyphenols inside of them in these foods like pomegranate and grapes and berries. It is the anthocyanins that give them their beautiful pigment. And they've been found to have an inverse relationship with cardiovascular disease. So in other words, the more flavonoids you're getting in your diet, the lower your risk of cardiovascular disease. They do amazing things in your body. They can decrease blood pressure. They're anti-inflammatory. They relax the arteries. So it's the concept that food is medicine, and the compounds and plants activate our internal pharmacies. So when I was introduced to Juice Plus, with everything that I learned, with my pharmacist background and my journey through juicing, it made so much sense. Just a few minutes of looking at it with an open mind, and I was truly blown away. I had never seen a product with this breadth of clinical research, published in 31 different scientific journals. And then you have all the different benefits that it's shown. A 66% reduction in DNA damage, positively influences 1,600 genes over 8 weeks, providing antioxidant protection by up to a 528% increase in beta-carotene over 28 days, improving circulatory performance by decreasing constriction after an unhealthy meal, improved immune function from students to elderly, supports metabolic health by enhancing insulin sensitivity, reducing abdominal fat in adolescents, increases lean body mass in adults, improved cognitive function, improved gut health. 21 published studies proving that Juice Plus has excellent bioavailability, increasing the levels in your blood of micronutrients and phytonutrients. These are the vitamins, the carotenoids, the polyphenols that our bodies need to thrive. And that is really just scratching the surface. How incredible. And all of that clinical research you can find at juiceplus.com. So from this pharmacist's perspective, I'm confident that I can recommend it to every family. It's functional food, offering simple solutions to give families their daily nutritional support, to bridge the gap in diets that we so desperately need. But as a wife, as a mom, as a daughter, a sister, as a friend, let's take a look at how this plays out in real life. Because what I began to see in myself and the people that I love changed the game for me. You know, when we think about health, it really is like a spectrum, isn't it? We have disease and illness all the way down here on this end of the spectrum, and then optimal health all the way over here, and everything else all in between. And I've been down here on this, closer to this end of the spectrum, the unhealthy end. And today I'm so grateful, like many of you, to be much closer to this end, the optimal health end of the spectrum. You know, people are typically pretty surprised to learn that at one point in my life, I had 3 spleens. That is totally weird because you're only supposed to have 1, right? Yes, I had 3 spleens, and then I went to 0. They removed all 3 through my autoimmune disorder, and as you can imagine, without having a spleen, my immune system was rather weak because the role that your spleen plays in your immune health. And this left me prone to getting sick often and for prolonged periods of time. But I learned that food is a weapon, and it can be used as either a weapon of mass destruction or a weapon of mass vitality. Yes. And with making small changes over time and incorporating Juice Plus into my daily routine for nearly a decade now, I'm healthier than I have ever been. My husband had battled with his allergies for his entire life, but after just a few months, he noticed his immune system was stronger. It was functioning better. And we've experienced the systemic advantages and the conditioning impact of these plant foods that for us has just compounded over time. And this makes sense because we know from 4 published clinical studies that Juice Plus supports the function of the immune system. You know, when we first started Juice Plus, we didn't have our own children yet. But when we learned about the Healthy Starts for Families program, I immediately thought of my niece, Josie. Josie was 5 years old at the time, and she had struggled with her respiratory health since infancy. And I was so grateful to give Josie her Juice Plus every time my shipment came in. Today, she's 15 years old, and she is an elite high school athlete. She's grown to be fit, healthy, and strong. And we know that for her, as an athlete, undergoing intense exercise consistently, inflammation and oxidative stress levels rise. But we also know from our Juice Plus research that the capsules attenuate the markers of increased oxidative stress following physical exercise, even for up to 30 hours after training. Talk about a performance advantage. As a sophomore in high school, Josie's aware of how food impacts her body. She knows what it means to fuel well, and she loves taking her Juice Plus every day. She takes all 4 blends of her essential capsules and drinks her Complete or Perform every single day. Yes, I mentioned earlier that one of my greatest desires was to have a healthy family of my own. And so getting on Juice Plus before getting pregnant was important to me because I knew that I wanted that nutrition to condition my body and to nourish our growing babies. From 2 pharmacist perspectives, my husband and I loved seeing over 20 published clinical studies proving bioavailability, which measures how much of an ingested substance gets into the bloodstream in the cells. These studies found that the capsules increase the blood levels of vitamins and phytonutrients in a wide range of ages, from children to the elderly. In my opinion, there's no more important of a time to nourish well. I once heard one of my favorite obstetricians say, what a mom eats during her pregnancy can affect her child's future children. Once our babies were eating solid foods around 6 months of age, we started to sprinkle the powders from the capsules either directly into their mouths or onto their food. And we looked at this as a way of training their taste, literally training their taste buds by building their microbiome due to that strong connection between the gut and the brain. We're so grateful that our children have acquired a palate to desire healthy food, fruits and vegetables. And the difference that we've seen in just one generation between my husband and myself and our children is amazing. And we attribute that to this one simple change in starting the Juice Plus habit early on. And then when they were a little, I guess about a year old, we had them on the Complete every day as well. And before they could swallow their capsules, we would just open their capsules right up and pour the powders from the fruit, vegetable, berry blends and their oils from the Juice Plus Omega right into their Complete and start that way every day for breakfast. Today, they're 6 and 7 years old and they are healthy, they're strong. They've grown up in this community, they've learned from this community, and I'd say they know more about nutrition than I did in my 20s. Speaking of children, I mentioned this earlier, but one of my favorite things is the Healthy Starts for Families program, where through the foundation and a small donation by partners, children can be sponsored for free with an adult order. For over 20 years now, over 1.5 million families worldwide have participated by documenting how their families are making the shift towards better health. And I love these results. Children are consuming less fast food and soda. They're eating more fruits and vegetables, they're visiting the doctor less, they're missing fewer days of school, they're drinking more water, and my personal favorite, they're taking fewer prescription and or over-the-counter drugs. So awesome. Yes. And you can also access all of that data at juiceplus.com. But this is daily plant-based nutrition support for the whole family. This right here tells me that we need to be out there getting this in as many households as we possibly can, reaching as many kids as we can. Just think about it. Think about the impact that we can make from teaching these children while they're young, the impact that that'll make in their life right now, not only now, but later in life for them and for future generations to come. The last story I want to share with you this morning is the most recent of our 8-year journey, and it's about my dad. My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last July, and the first decision that he made after the doctors left his hospital room giving us the news was to get started on Juice Plus. You guys, I hope you hear how passionate I am about this, how much I believe in this, but I also know family can be hard. At that point, that was the time that my dad was finally getting started on Juice Plus. But he underwent a 10-hour surgery and he was not doing well. He had trouble keeping any food or liquids down for weeks, even before the surgery. But we were so grateful that he had his Juice Plus Complete to sustain him during that time. And after the surgery, he came to live with us in our home so we could take care of him. And he was not well at all. At this point, he could hardly even tolerate sips of water. They did that surgery, and even though they couldn't remove all of the cancer, and we found out that it had already spread to his lymphatic system, they completely reworked his digestive tract. So like I said, he couldn't even tolerate sips of water. When he got home to our house, he could hardly even lift his head off of the pillow. But he did have a feeding tube, and I knew we could work with that. And at this point, I finally realized the purpose of that juicing journey from all of those years before. So I started juicing fresh fruits and vegetables for him, and I would open up his Juice Plus capsules, each of them, the fruit, the vegetable, the berry, and the plant omega, from our Juice Plus Omega, and I would put it into his fresh fruit and vegetable juices, and we would put that into his feeding tube. That is how much I believe in this. I wanted my dad to have quality of life. I wanted, for whatever amount of time he had left, to be able to feel as well as he could and to be able to do the things that he wanted to do. By day 2, I was even able to put the Complete into, his concoction that I was making for him and feeding it to him through his feeding tube. And I tell you what, after 2 days, he was able to get up off of our couch and walk all the way out to our chicken coop, which is at the end of our field, and back, all on his own. plant nutrition. He slowly recovered from the surgery, and I tell you what, his home health nurse told us that he recovered better than any other patient she's taken care of in over 20 years of taking care of patients with this specific type of surgery. He was able to make a full recovery and go home and go hunting that winter and spend really great quality time with us over the holidays. And in November of this year, we got this text from my dad in our group chat, and he was telling us how much he believed in his Juice Plus, and he was thanking us for sharing it with him. You know, some people might have thought that it was too late to go to those kinds of extremes for someone with that poor of a prognosis. But not me. I disagree. I know it's never too early, and I know it's never too late. I wanted him to have the best quality of life possible for the time that he had. He even experienced his eyesight, his blood pressure, and his blood sugar improving despite everything he had been battling. Yes, we lost my dad in March of this year, right after his 70th birthday. But I tell his story because if he were sitting here with us today, he would want you to know. Remember that it's never too early and it's never too late to invest in your nutrition. A food-first approach is the way I think now. So for us, Juice Plus is a constant. It's the good during the good times, and it's the good during the hard times. In my opinion, the biggest problem we have with our health in the United States is our nutrition. After what I learned about the power of the food at the end of our forks, I spent quite a lot of time as a pharmacist encouraging patients to make lifestyle changes, to eat a healthier diet. But the problem is, most people can't or won't do it. What I love the most about Juice Plus is that it's a simple, affordable, easy solution for the whole family. It's one that every person can do. And by the way, it's the most thoroughly researched nutritional product in the entire world. The research is a differentiator for sure, but when you see the research come to life and those you care about, it opens your eyes to the mission. And a person on a mission can make a big difference. But a group of people together on a mission can change the world. We are the leader in plant-based nutrition here at Juice Plus, and we're only continuing to get better. So my charge for all of us here today is this. Let's go out there and make Juice Plus a household name. Thank you.